Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Wednesday edition of the JP Peterson Show. We are coming to you live from our beautiful RHS TV studios here in St. Petersburg. My man Peter Blake up in his home studio there in Holiday running the show today. We got tons of great stuff to get to. The Rays with a ugly win last night, but Kevin Kennedy, I'll take an ugly win over a pretty loss any day of the week. I think we'd all agree with that. We had some media fireworks last night that Peter Blake's going to tell us all about. Can't wait for that.
Yes.
We got lots of football to get into with the Buccaneers. They're back to work today as they get set to take on Minnesota coming up on Sunday at 1 o'clock in a highly anticipated opener. So we'll get into that a little bit. We got lots of guests coming on today. Our good friend Nick Geddes is going to join us with the UCF report and probably want to get some other things off his chest. He'll join us at 10:30. They're going up to play Boise State on the blue turf up there. Leo Haggerty will join us at 10:45 to talk some USF. We really haven't talked much about their opening loss at Western Kentucky. I watched that whole game. We want to get into that a little bit as well. At 11 o'clock, J.C. Allen will join us, formerly of Pewter Report, now working with SI.com. So we'll chat with him about the Bucs. And at 11:15, our good friend T.J. Reeves, Bucs sideline guy, will join us. He was up at the Penn State-West Virginia game. He did that for national radio with LeVar Arrington. So he's got obviously some great stories from that, which, by the way, screwed my whole betting on Saturday as Penn State backup quarterback had something to prove with the fourth down. I don't even know why they ran another play. Don't just take a knee. You already got the game won. And it takes the game from under to over and takes Penn State from not covering to covering. I had West Virginia. Bitch on the last play. I hate when they do that. So I'm going to find out what the hell went on there. So
well, you got to ask TJ how he made LeVar Arrington sing Lionel Richie's All Night Long. I mean, that's classic. And yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it had something to do with the drive home through the cow pastures. But we'll get into all that good stuff here on the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group and Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. All right. So I'm watching the Rays game last night, and I'm just like getting sick to my stomach, Peter Blake. I'm like, are we just going to piss this one away again? I mean, just a comedy of errors, and I do mean errors.
Yes.
First, Brandon Lau with a double play ball. I'd say on degree of difficulty, maybe a 6.5. He botches that, leads to a run, and then Bruhan playing short. I don't know why the hell he was playing short last night.
Why is he even on this team at this point? I mean, I don't want to be hard on this kid. I get it. He's a prospect, but this is the reason why you want to trade some prospects to get a guy that's ready to go. I mean, this is a true example of it. Here's a kid who's been very successful major league or minor league baseball ever since he's got up here with the Rays. He's done basically nothing. Defensively, he's not good. Offensively, he's not good. The only thing he's really known for is being fast and being one of their supposed top prospects. So he's not good. He's not good. And
fundamentally, the throwing error that's going to happen, that leads to a run. And then in the 8th or 9th inning, it's a 1-run game with a guy on second base, hot shot to short, and he tries to matador it like off to the side.
Olay.
Bro, what are you doing? You got to get in front of that. Like, hello, Little League, get in front of the damn ball. What are you doing? There's a guy. I mean, that's the tying run right there. you got to do everything. You got to. You're a Vasilevsky at that point, bro. You're knocking anything down. You certainly don't matador the damn thing and let it get to left field in the tying run score. That's egregious. Yes. I mean, that's bad. That's bad baseball, and that's yeah. And then the pop up behind third. He said he called it. It wasn't an easy play, but that's another one that leads to another run. So, yeah. That was just a ridiculous. You can't play sloppy baseball like that and expect to catch the Orioles. They're not playing sloppy baseball. You can't do it.
Let's put it out there. The Rays did everything they could last night to lose that game, and they were lucky and also, fortunate to have B. Lau.
Yeah.
To lose that game.
I tried to run out of town. Hey, that was a clutch hit. And I love not only the stare down off of Kenley Jansen last night. He was pitching for the third straight day for the first time all year long. But Belau got it all. Hit it down the right field line. Looked like it might be going foul. Stays fair. And it wasn't even a celebration. He threw the bat down in disgust because of the two plays that he missed. He also missed a bit of a pop-up that allowed a run to score, the go-ahead run in the 10th inning. So, or the 11th, I think it was. Whatever. He made up for it. And when all's well that ends well. Yes. If you get the walk-off win, it becomes kind of an inspirational moment. But you can't, if you're Kevin Cash, you can't be happy with the way your team played. That's just that's shoddy baseball. You just can't. You can't expect to do that. You can't play like the Yankees and expect to win a game. I always got to get my shot in there. Yeah, you can't play.
Are they 69-69? First time they've been 69-69 since 1969. Is that right?
Okay, Gronk. All right, Gronk. Yeah, that's enough. I mean, he's probably walking around saying that all day. Hey, the Yankees are 69-69? Hasn't been that way since 69. I love me some Gronk.
That's how bad they are this year.
But you did a good one there. That was good. You got to say it like Gronk, though.
Okay. I'll try. Oh.
Yeah, like a caveman. Yeah. I miss that guy. I really miss that guy. That guy was pure entertainment, man. I miss Tommy and Gronky. That was some quality television.
Yes.
That little thing they did. That should go down. It's a highlight of Buccaneers.com.
Yeah.
Tommy and Gronky was excellent.
Social media excellence by Buccaneers.com right there.
Yeah, they're really good over there. They do a hell of a job over there.
Yes.
Anyway, we got off track there. Yeah, 69-69, but they suck. They're awful. It's interesting though. They go to the youth movement, get rid of all the dinosaurs, and all of a sudden they're winning baseball games. Duh. Yeah, Brian Cashman, congratulations.
This guy sucks.
But anyway, back to the Rays. So Belau gets the big walk off, and all's well that ends well. So then we get the all right. What kind of sound we got here? Let's lead into it so we can get.
Yeah, let's go out to Trish Whitaker and Brandon Lau here. These are not.
This is when Trish was not fighting with Mark Topkin last night.
Yes,
is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
This is the immediate post game interview.
Yes, correct.
That Mark's not allowed at.
That was unbelievable.
A little chapped about that or something. I could not fill me in on that.
I could not believe it. We'll definitely talk about that here in a little bit. Here we go.
Brandon Lau, talk about one heck of a battle of a game. Take us through that walk-off home run and how good it felt to finally put an end to this one.
It felt great, honestly, with us being up early and kind of playing some shoddy defense there in that inning. I guarantee you half of our infield and some of our other guys felt horrible if we were going to come out with the win today. So feeling that off the bat, just kind of relieved all that pressure, all that stank from that inning.
I was going to say, Brandon, this one wasn't necessarily pretty, but is this what teams...
By the way, all that stank. You got to love that, right?
All that stank. Got rid of all that stank.
Do in September when they're making a push for that postseason. Grind it out, even when it's not easy or pretty.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said, it wasn't a pretty game. No one's going to tell you you're wrong on that one. It wasn't, but that's a huge shout out to our bullpen, to Devo and Pete to come in there and keep that close, and Erasmo to come in and do what he did in a tough situation in that inning to keep us there and let our offense have a chance to come through and do what we do.
I was going to say, what does that say about that bullpen? Not a single earned run given up in this contest. That's not easy to do when things aren't quite going their way.
Yeah, it's incredible to watch what they do day in and day out. It sure makes me thankful to be here and make sure I don't have to face those guys.
Brandon, congratulations on the one.
All right, there you go. So, yes, and it's amazing that Devansky, who's been the pinata for Rays fans here the last couple outings, didn't give up any runs. So that's always a good thing.
Hopefully he's rounding into form, that 5.09 ERA form.
Yeah.
Hey, it'll take a little while for Kyle Snyder to work his magic with this guy, but hopefully, last night was a harbinger of things to come, and he can be better because he's been bad since he got over here. But like I said, it takes a little time to work the magic. All right, so take us now to the Kevin Cash interview. This is let's listen.
Go. Yeah, let's go ahead and listen, and then we'll tell the story here. Here we go.
The battle, but how nice was it to see Brandon Lau kind of end that game on that note after you guys grinded out a very tough game?
Yeah, that was a big hit, no doubt, and we did it against one of the better closers in baseball. Yandy had a great at bat to be allowed to come up there. I thought early in the bat he probably had a couple of cutters or fastballs that he'd like to have back, but that last one he got a hold of pretty good. He mentioned in the interview after the game it was nice to do that, especially after the defense that had happened. He mentioned that the infield probably not at the top of their game today. What did you see? I think that's fair. And we do a lot of good things defensively. Tonight was not one of our stronger nights, but just happy with the way the guys continue to stay at it and find a way to win the game. When we talk about September baseball, they're not always going to be pretty. We'll take a win. The bullpen, despite some tough defense, they did not allow an earned run. I mean, just how impressive was that? Armstrong was excellent. Well, Poche, Kevin Kelly, Armstrong, Devansky, really happy for him. Obviously, Pete, and then Erasmo to come in there and just keep it to one with the guy starting at second, all helped us win that game.
Just for Brandon to be that guy, he seems like he's hit some big home runs for you at times.
Yeah, he has hit some big home runs, and that was another big one. I mean, we feel good when he's at the plate.
Tough decision in the 10th to send a fast runner in Lau from third, short fly ball.
No, not at all.
Average arm versus having Diaz bat with 2 outs.
100% send him every time. They made a nice play. Yeah.
I know it. Obviously, you did win the game, but the inning where the ground ball got by Brujan and then the pop-up, did you have a good take on who should have made that call or who should have made that play? Or
you mean the tweener play? Look, that's tough. Brujan's shifted over. Cassis is a big pull lefty. Right. We've got him shifted way over. Brujan, if we go back and look, he ran a long way to get to that ball. I'm guessing nobody felt confident that they were going to catch it. That's why it wasn't called. And then I don't know whose glove it hit off of. Unfortunate, they just placed it perfectly.
Would Walsh have been in the game in the 7th inning if he had been available for defense?
Walsh would have started the game if he was, yeah.
Were you guys challenging to see if it was a catwalk ball that Aranda hit way early on?
Yeah. It was just kind of unique how both outfielders reacted as it was coming down, so I wasn't sure. And if it's a free challenge, why not?
And then couldn't get a replay on Randy's ball off the wall?
No, that was on me. I just assumed that he caught it. I don't know if it nicked it or not. I heard that it would have been potentially not a catch.
So they just say you'd run out of time to challenge me.
Yeah. What did you see from Eflin?
I thought he looked good. I mean, his last outing, he was really, really crisp. I think this outing, he had to work a little bit harder. I mean, you got to credit the Red Sox lineup. Those guys can hit. But he did a nice job of minus the home run, the 2-run homer. He looked really good.
On the impact from Siri in this game, 2 plays early on, then, the bunt signal would put you guys in a pretty good place. Yeah, the play where he was jumping back, that was a pretty cool play. I mean, he covers a lot of ground too. And the bunt at the time, you're feeling really good. If he gets it on the ground and he ends up being safe, you're feeling that much better. It just wasn't meant to be that inning.
Was that his bunt or is that a called bunt?
Called.
He seemed really excited when he got to first safely.
Did he?
That little dance he did there?
I didn't pay attention to it. No.
And just to go back to, as there were some sloppy plays, you guys let a lead get away to still stay in that game.
We won.
Come back and win it.
Yeah, we won.
Say
That's basically what it comes down to. I mean, if we can find a way to win sloppy for the next for the rest of this month, I'll be really happy.
Everybody good?
Well, I mean, they stay in the game too. That's the point I was trying to make. I mean, your guys didn't get frustrated; they stayed. In the game.
I mean, I would expect them not to get frustrated and do everything that they can to keep. If it's tied, if we're down, find a way to come back. If it's tied, take the lead.
He had a rough night, and that would be because right before then, and I don't know if anybody's paying attention to this at the time, but Trish is she already did her post with Lau.
On the field.
Right, on the field. Yeah. She's at his locker. She's going to lead off with her question, and Mark interrupts her, and Trish gives him the business and says, listen, we got this. We know what we're doing. This is how it's going to go. And there's silence in the room, and there's kind of like a chuckle or something. And
that was me at home. No,
I'm telling you, I went out live, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, I am not hallucinating. I wish I got it recorded, but yeah.
Tricia and Mark got into it?
Oh, yeah.
You're like, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's live TV. You got to love it.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. Well, just a little behind the curtains stuff. Bally's. It's the same like with TJ in the locker room, the Bucs locker room. Like with TJ's live on the Bucs radio network. If you're doing an interview, and this happens all the time, if I'm like have a line of questioning going or something, and TJ comes in, you back off and you let him in. He's live. That's what we do. That's how we work it here. It's same thing with Bally's. If Bally's is live, they're doing a live TV show. They come in. They're the rights holder. They have, you just defer, you wait, 45 seconds, a minute and a half before you can get your questions in. That's just kind of the way it works. I guess Mark wasn't down with that. He was like, you already had interviewed him on the field, but that's just, this just in. TV is king. They pay the bills. They get all the rights. So yeah, I mean, I wasn't there. I didn't see how the whole thing went down, but as far as I know, that's how we do it. And Trish was certainly within her rights. She's live on television. Mark's got a deadline, I guess with internet now, it's not like it's for tomorrow's paper, but he's got a deadline as well. I understand that, but yeah, you defer to the television. Clearly she was making sure that happened.
Clearly it was her territory. Nobody else's. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, listen, I've seen fisticuffs, in locker rooms between reporters. It's hilarious. It's funny stuff. It really is funny. And because it gets, it can get a little untidy in there, when you got a lot of people trying to jockey for space and photographers trying to get a shot. I tell you what, it's 10 times worse in a football locker room than it is in a baseball locker room. You have limited cameras, probably no local media at all, because they just get it from Bally. So I don't know. That's a little funny. I don't know if any of you guys saw that, but it went out live on the air. That's kind of funny. Whatever. That's all good. But listen, I don't know if Kevin was ticked off at Mark's question. I don't think he was. He was just like, yeah, whatever. We won the game. Go win the game. And he's right. Your team should not be frustrated. If it's frustrating, go do something about it. And that's exactly what Brandon Lau did. I mean, if you're pissed off at yourself, which clearly he was, and the ground ball double play, you got to make that play. You got to make that play. Like I said, that's a 5 or a 6.5. The one that got over his head that he dove for, that's a tough play. That's probably about an 8.5 on the degree of difficulty scale. I wouldn't, but it sure, it allowed the go ahead run. So he was pissed, but do something about it. Oh, there you go. Take that 3-run jack, walk off.
Nice.
And yeah, and it's a big one, because if they lose that game, think of the mood of the team right now, because Baltimore goes out and wins in 10 innings against the Angels again. So they'd be sitting there watching that in the clubhouse or on their way home going, there we did it again. And they'd be 4 games back or 4.5 games back.
Yeah.
So now they stay at 3.5, which is crucial. Every game is crucial at that point. That's why you don't want to piss them away like you did against Cleveland. So yeah, that's a big win. That's a big win for the Rays. They needed that. They needed that comeback. And in that dramatic fashion, that hopefully gives them a little boost. But, from a strategic standpoint, yeah, if Taylor Walls was healthy, he would have started the game. They would not have Bruhan the Butcher at shortstop as he was last night. That kind of sounds good. I like that.
Bruhan the Butcher. Wow. I like that. That
sounds
good.
Like a guy you'd go see in Stuttgart, right? Or something.
Oh, yeah. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Or Prague. Yeah. Go see Bruhan the Butcher.
Bruhan the
When he
Butcher.
plays second, when he plays shortstop, he the Butcher. He was last night. That was not good. Yeah, they need to get Taylor Walls back big time. And hopefully this little respite woke up the bat too. That would be nice. We could get like April and May Taylor Walls back.
Well, that'd be nice. Why not use Basabi at that point, right? Why not use him more?
I guess they wanted Bruhan's left-handed bat in there. But Basabi's he's getting, some big hits at times, but he's playing great defense. I wouldn't risk it. Yeah. I wouldn't risk putting him. I don't know if Basabi got hurt or whatever. I don't know.
Well, ever since Walls came back, they said, we're going to go full time with him. What did you think of that decision? Do you like that? I mean, I think the kid has shown enough, and I understand how the Rays treat their prospects, but we've also seen it the other way, where a kid can galvanize the clubhouse. And let's just put it out there. He's proven himself. He's proven himself to be a player, an everyday player, in my opinion. He's got big hits. He's got to improve at the plate, of course, but defensively, he's a lot better than Bruhan.
I think what Cash is seeing is first, Taylor Walls is elite defensively. I mean, Basabi's been good. Taylor Walls is elite defensively. He's got more experience. And you just hope that he gets that April, May going, because you're going to need that. You're going to need that. So I think you're looking at the upside. What's the ceiling here? And you're also in critical games, especially in the playoffs, you want a shortstop that's rock solid. Not that Basabi hasn't been, but he's just young. You want the rock solid guy in there that's going to make the plays, make some spectacular plays, because you're going to have to win with pitching and defense. This offense is not going to be one of the better offenses, even though it's been a little toasty lately. It's not. When it gets to the playoffs against elite pitching, it's not going to be. So every unearned run can lose you a game. So yeah, you got to go with Taylor Walls. You got to go with your elite guy. It's not like Basabi's not going to play, right? He's going to play,
right?
But it's just, Taylor's going to be your guy. It's a little unnerving though that he got injured again. So, we need to see him out there. He's got to get his ass out there.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, to our comments section. James Ludeman saying Rays fans wanted to trade this guy a few weeks ago. Glad we kept him. Not only Rays fans, me. Why don't you call me out, Flash? Yeah, because I said so. But that's why he's doing good, because I called him out. So I took one for the team. Well, nothing is over in September. It's over. Remember, game 162, the Rays were 9.5 out then and came roaring back. Way less and still have more to play against the O's. Listen, I'm not saying it can't happen. I mean, but if you're counting on the 162 miracle again, I would say, I got a bridge to sell you or two. It's a miracle. It's not happening again. It can happen. Sure. Anything mathematically can happen, but the way the Orioles are playing, yeah, you get 3.5, 4.5, 5.5 games back with half a month to go. No. And now you're forced already. You're forced to sweep that series. If you lose even one game of that 3-game series coming up, next week? 17th, 18th, 19th, I think it is, or 2 weeks, whatever it is. Yeah. You lose even one of those games right now. Every game counts for 2. Even losing one of them is probably going to disqualify you from winning the division. And, it's such a huge advantage to win the division and get that top seed and that bye. Because, your pitching, your bullpen, everything gets saved. You rest. Huge advantage. And the Rays need that advantage if they're going to make any noise in the playoffs. So they got to catch the Orioles. And that season, that series is coming up. And do you really think you're going to Baltimore to sweep them? No,
not like that. No, if you're playing like that, no, you're not going to beat anybody. You barely beat the Red Sox last night. You lost to the Indians 2 out of Guardians. Ugh. 2 out of 3.
It's okay, Peter. It's okay, Peter. Nobody died by you calling them the Indians, as far as I know.
It's still there, man. I can't stop doing it. Major League
is racist. You're racist. You horrible human being. Look at you. You white American colonialist talking about the Native Americans like that. You disgust me.
Shut up!
Oh, God.
RJ Martin said, would like to be within 2 and 2.5 back from Baltimore before we see them next weekend. I'd like to have caught them. Because again, every game counts for 2. You can't be being behind it. The number is bigger than it looks right now. Like that image in your mirror is bigger than it looks. Flash, stop calling them Seminoles, Baja. F you. We'll keep celebrating the Seminole Indian tribe as they want us to do.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Every time Guardians and Commanders.
What's just that?
Every time it comes out of somebody's mouth, I'm just like, bleh, bleh, please do something that actually means something. All right, so we will take a break. Well, we got a couple more minutes here to talk Rays. As far as I want to get into one other thing on the Buccaneers. So I was listening to Rick Stroud's podcast, and he had a one-on-one with Coach Bowles.
Right.
Great interview. Audio was a little tough to listen to, but great interview, and kind of revealed some stuff that I kind of felt honestly that maybe I've been a little tough on Todd Bowles for last year. In so as as I've said many times, if your offense coordinator is not doing what you're telling him to do, fire his ass. Mm-hmm. And it was almost like it was almost impossible. And I've heard people say, well, who's going to call plays? Anybody but him. You couldn't be worse than him.
Right.
But maybe what I didn't account for was how close Byron and Tom were. So in obviously with what Tom was going through, anything that would have not suited him, like, getting a different coordinator, may not have been best for him. I would argue that, the way it was going, it couldn't have been worse. Maybe a change would have been better for him, even though he didn't know it. This is why coaches coach, GMs GM, and players play. When players get in I got to protect my offensive coordinator mode, or I want to fire the head coach mode, wink, wink, it doesn't end well. And that's the bigger point here. I think I will shift a little bit more of, I've already put a large part of it on Tom Brady for the dysfunction of last year. I would say I'm going to shift it a little bit more to Tom Brady, because the reason that Bowles had to deal with a lot of that stuff was because of the cockamamie way that Brady didn't want Arians to be there, because Arians wouldn't let him go to Miami when he wanted to go to Miami. This is my opinion, informed opinion over all the things that I saw happen and the people I've talked to. I firmly believe that was a Brady order in the code red, and that brought Bowles in to the conversation as the head coach with the same coaching staff. I mean, because if Bowles goes out there and fires somebody or fires the coaching staff, then Brady's even more upset. It becomes a bigger problem. And then everybody's saying, well, why did you mess with something that worked? We won a Super Bowl in 13 games. Why did you mess with it? Well, because it wasn't working. That's why. So I think maybe my insistence that he didn't hold Byron as accountable as he should may have been a little bit more misguided. And most of that just needs to rest with Tom Brady. And as unbelievable as he was, and the greatest to ever do it, last year was a debacle because of Tom Brady, because of the way he didn't want Arians to be the coach. And Bowles even said, Arians had the secret sauce when it came to that offense. He knew the levers to pull, and we just didn't have that last year. We didn't have that guidance. So as we've, said last year, while it was going on, this is ridiculously dysfunctional. And most of it is because of Tom Brady, because of the way he orchestrated that whole thing. And, it's history now, but I think I will take a little bit of a mea culpa here and say, and I'm a huge Todd Bowles fan, and nobody's rooting harder for him to be a success than me, but he needs to prove himself. And this will give him a better chance to do so. And from what I've seen, with the bold choice of Dave Canales as the offensive coordinator and Baker Mayfield, this is his team. This is what he wants. So this is going to be a much better judge of where this should be. And he's working with a lot of new players as well. So I can't wait to see it. And I'm the anticipation is killing me. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk some UCF football with our UCF football report with our good friend Nick Geddes. I think he has a few more things to get off his chest as well. So we'll chat with our good friend Nick Geddes when we come back. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com, who brings you the Gator Report each and every Thursday with Scott Carter. We'll have that tomorrow. And Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Get your health right, get your immune system right. If you have any issues with COVID, go see our man, Chris Lugo. He's the man to see. BAMMC.com. Get your appointment right there. Back in 3 with Nick Geddes. Stay with us. stuffy, overpriced sports bars. Well, come join the fun at the Patio in South Tampa and watch your favorite football teams under the stars in a tropical paradise. Yeah, it's a unique setting with huge wood decks beneath the trees, and don't worry, they have an inside AC bar with all your favorite bar games as well. The Patio has all the NFL and UFC sports packages, and it's home to the Tampa Gator Club and Bills Mafia, but all fans are welcome at any time. Hey, my FSU buddies love to watch the Noles at the Patio. It's also home to a great happy hour. Weekdays get $4 White Claw vodka drinks and $4 White Claw seltzers, dollar off all beer and wine from 3 to 7:30. And every Friday happy hour, join us for Football Friday. It's our live broadcast from 5 to 7 with tons of specials and the fan mic for you to join the show. We'll have swag and ticket giveaways as well. So come out for the live broadcast 5 to 7 every Friday at the Patio and come watch football in a tropical paradise all season long. It's 421 South McDill, just a few blocks south of Kennedy. Everyone meets at the Patio. Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. Only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we're going to talk some college football with our good friend Nick Geddes in our UCF report, who does his fine UCF podcast. Good morning to you, Nick. How you doing, buddy?
Hey,
can I hear you?
Yeah, can you hear me good? Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on. I'm glad to be back on the show. Glad to be back on the show. And as I think I heard you there when you were going to break, I do have some things to get off my chest, potentially. I've been like, I don't know where to air my thoughts anymore. I'm not the biggest tweeter in the world to begin with, or X or whatever we're calling it now. So I just have all my thoughts boiled up, the Rays, the Bucs, college football. So anything you need, I got you.
All right, good. Well, we'll start bringing you on a couple times a week because I knew this was going to happen. This is what happens to me. Peter will tell you the same thing. Like when I go on vacation, I get all pent up. Like I see all this stuff, and I'm like, I gotta get off my chest. So you gotta, you've had that outlet for years now. So now it's so fine. You come on anytime you want. We love to hear your takes. So but we'll start with UCF. By the way, your podcast is Charge On Podcast, right? Tell everybody where they can find it.
The Charge On Podcast on the Believe Network. You can find us on YouTube, which you just type in Charge On Podcast, subscribe there, Apple, Spotify, Believe.com. You can find us on all those platforms. And we're going to have an episode actually dropping tomorrow, preview for Boise State this Saturday.
All right, well, let's go back to Kent State. What, a 56-6 win over the Golden Flashes, who were kind of gutted. They only had 4 returning starters. Sean Lewis, their coach, went to Colorado with Dion. Did a pretty good job, by the way. We'll talk about that. Yeah. So they were a little down, but let's give your Knights all the credit in the world. They dominated the game. John Rice Plumlee had 4 touchdowns, 371 total yards. That was a pretty damn impressive performance. What'd you see?
I mean, I kind of expected that. You just want to take care of business against an inferior opponent like Kent State. You mentioned it. Not many starters coming back. Sean Lewis being gone. So 56-6. I mean, it's hard to really nitpick. At that point, you really are nitpicking things, I think, if you're looking for problems. But John Rice Plumlee, I thought he started the game red hot. On the ground, obviously, he's one of the most explosive players in college football. Very hard to tackle in space. But I keep going back to 3 turnovers against Kent State and 2 passes that were pretty ill-advised, bad decisions. And also one of the things he needs to clean up, last year he kind of was taking a lot of hits in open space. Slide. Yeah. We say that all the time about these running quarterbacks. Didn't really see that from John Rice Plumlee. In fact, it looked like he was almost inviting contact at times. So some things to clean up there, but the running game was fantastic. The 4-headed monster, R.J. Harvey, I told you about. He was great in that game. Had a 50-yard receiving touchdown. DeMarcus Bowman got a shot in there in the fourth quarter, if you recall, the former Clemson/Florida Lakeland kid. Yeah. A lot of hype around him, former 5-star recruit. He got in there in the fourth, had a touchdown, so maybe we see more of him. But all in all, it was a good little warm-up, I think, for Boise State, who had a very, very tough week in Washington.
Dick, how concerned are you about those turnovers? Because kind of have our own turnover problem here with USF and Byron Brown with his 3 turnovers. How concerned are you with your quarterback?
I don't know if concerned's the right word, but at least going into the season, I had UCF pegged as kind of a 6-6 team in the Big 12. I think that would have been great. And I think part of that was John Rice Plumlee just being a little unsure about him. I think he has really good moments where I'm like, wow, he looks really great. And obviously he fits Gus Malzahn's system, but the turnover bug is definitely something that has followed him here so far. And 3 turnovers, is that going to affect you against Kent State? No. But when you start getting into Big 12 play, I'm talking Kansas State, I'm talking Oklahoma, games like that, you turn the ball over 3 times, you're going to lose. It's that simple. And then I'm looking at, it's in the past, but for what it's worth, Mikey Keene, if you saw, he was the quarterback for Fresno State who dominated Purdue and got a win on the road. He was in UCF last year. And Gus Malzahn chose John Rice Plumlee because he runs and fits his system more. But Mikey Keene's a better passer. So I'm already looking at that. Like, is it fair to say, did they make the right thing? I'm just putting it out there. I'm going to trust Gus Malzahn, but I'm keeping my eye on what Mikey Keene did. So probably some light concern at the moment for the turnovers there.
Well, maybe how much of this choice you think was, JRP being a leader that the guys like? I don't know this. I'm asking you. And maybe Mikey Keene was not that guy. Was there, I'm kind of looking at maybe a Jordan Travis type thing where, and it certainly has paid off for Mike Norvell. He stuck with Jordan when there were a lot of transfers knocking on the door that may have been, better passers, quote, better, hyped players. But he stuck with Jordan, and Jordan's has improved as a passer and certainly is the supreme leader of that football team. Is that any part of the decision, you think?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. JRP, I think, is the unquestioned leader of that football team. I'm not going to ever question his leadership qualities. I mean, you go back even Big 12 media days, he's out there doing the whole thing, pumping up UCF. He's definitely he checks every box when it comes to leadership. It's just the consistency from throw to throw is, I think, where John Rice Plumlee still needs to improve on. Hell of an athlete, like I continue to say. And he just fits Gus Malzahn. At the end of the day, he fits Gus Malzahn's offense. And Gus Malzahn wants to run. You know how it is with college coaches. They want the guy that can run their offense the best and open up more things. And John Rice Plumlee does that.
All right. So they got Boise State coming up. And, this is I was a little disappointed in Boise State, to be quite honest. I thought they'd give Washington a better game. But, Michael Penix may be the best throwing quarterback in college football. I mean, he loves it. He'd throw it deep. That's for damn sure. But what do you think about this week as they head up to the blue carpet?
Yeah, I had this as one of those typical trap games in college football. Saturday night, Boise State, blue field, just weird environment. Kind of, I think this is one of the furthest games that UCF has ever had to travel for, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a lot of weirdness going into it. But, man, you watch Boise, there's just nothing really that inspired me from their performance. And Washington, by the way, is a hell of a team. I think they're going to win the Pac. I think they're going to win the Pac-12. Everybody's talking about USC. I think Washington's the most complete team in the Pac-12. So there's no shame necessarily in getting your ass kicked, I guess, by Washington. But I expected more out of their quarterback, Taylon Green, who was getting a lot of hype, a really good dual-threat quarterback. He just had trouble there. So all of a sudden, I look at this game differently. If UCF can take care of business on the road in Boise, and then you keep in mind what happened with the Big 12 in Week 1, where Baylor gets upset, Texas Tech gets upset, Oklahoma State didn't look good against Central Arkansas. Now, all of a sudden, 6-6, I might be leaning towards 8-4, 9-3 when this UCF team comes. A lot of games that I thought were going to be really tough, they might be a little bit easier than I thought. And I think that starts with Boise State this week, and you go 2-0, and then you get to Villanova.
Nick, I got to ask you about FSU because, of course, we talk about it ad nauseum. I know you talk about it with your former co-host there, JP. I mean, what did you think of their performance versus LSU?
Man, that was – I mean, full disclosure, I went to UCF, but I grew up a Florida State fan. So, obviously, I followed the program very closely. And that, to me, I haven't felt that way about FSU since 2013. I haven't. I know 2014 they went to the playoff. 2015, 2016, New Year's Six bowl games. That felt like 2013 FSU.
Yeah, it did.
That was quintessential. Even the moment at the end there, I think Jaheim Bell completely trucked somebody down the sideline, and I was like, that's the Nick O'Leary play from Clemson, 2013. That was the moment, and I love at the end of the game, too. Mike Norvell could have just ran the ball out and gotten home with a 38-17 victory. Nope. We're going to continue scoring on them. We're going to keep throwing. And they made it 45-17. I don't care about the last touchdown. Didn't matter. That was as convincing of a win that you're going to find in college football this entire season, in my opinion. They're up to number 4 in the AP poll, highest they've been ranked since 2017. We saw what happened with Clemson, the debacle. We talked about expectations, JP, at the beginning of the season. Is it like a letdown if they win like 10 or 11 games? Yeah, now it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
The expectations have been set. It's like you got to run the table now and be in the college football playoff. That's what Florida State's goal is now.
I don't want to overreact on week 1. That's always a trap. But, man, Clemson's offense, it struggled last year. It struggled in this game against Duke. Now, Duke's a good football team, a better football team than I think people think. But, man, Clemson that was an embarrassing performance on so many levels. They're not going to fumble that many times in the red zone, but their offense just wasn't that great.
This is indicative of Dabo Swinney and his kind of unwillingness to adapt to the modern college football world. He's Mr. Anti-paying the players. He's always been like that. He's Mr. Anti-transfer portal. Look at FSU. They are where they are right now because of the transfer portal. Keon Coleman. My goodness. You saw that impact right there. Johnny Wilson's another one. Trey Benson, on and on and on. And Clemson has just refused to adapt. And there's no Travis Etienne out there. There's no Mike Williams out there. Justin Ross.
There's no Deshaun Watson or Trevor Lawrence either.
No. Yeah. And there's no Brett Venables. And without Brett Venables, Dabo Swinney is 40-23 as a head coach.
Oh, that's a good number right there. Very
good.
Right. What else you got to get off your chest here? The Rays. How your Rays doing?
Oh, I've been keeping track of your Rays takes, and I know how you roll. You're still not high on the Rays, but let me throw some flowers on them right here. With all the injuries going on, Wander Franco no longer being around, and that looks like you can't even count on that
anytime soon. No.
No, I can't see that. But the fact that they have Basavi playing out there, they got Pinto playing out there, Jonathan Aranda, who still has not really shown me much at the major league level. Vidal Brujan, we all saw that last night. I'm out on Vidal Brujan. He's got no value left.
Bye-bye.
He's failed prospect. Bye-bye. The fact that they're having to play all these guys and they're continuing to win games. Maybe it's not in the prettiest of ways, but they're continuing to win games. I just hate it that Baltimore just won't stop winning. And they sit here today like, 3 or 3.5 back?
3.5,
That's unfortunate. I don't think they're going to be able to make that up throughout this month because Baltimore just doesn't look like they're slowing down. So you're going to have to settle for the wild card. And the good thing is Houston, they're in first place. So hopefully you get to avoid Houston potentially. And that would be great. But yeah, I'm going to throw some flowers on the Rays. I've been very impressed with how they're adapting to everything that's gone on in the last month.
Nick, how surprised are you by the performance at Colorado? I mean, that's a big story, it seems like, this week with shocking college football there at TCU.
I mean, I'm just like everybody. We were all taken aback by Colorado, and it's a great story. Shedeur Sanders, all of a sudden, we're talking first-round pick in the 2024 NFL draft after one game. I mean, we're acting like Colorado's like the first program to I mean, their situation is unique, don't get me wrong. But they're not the first program to just all of a sudden be really good. Okay, so I'm gonna pump the brakes a little bit on them. I'm not saying they're gonna win the Pac-12 or they're gonna win 10 football games. I actually think going into Nebraska, that game's gonna be a lot closer than people think. Because, and JP knows this from covering sports for a long time, you start reading the press clippings. You got to go out. You proved it in game one, but now you cannot have the letdown. Now you're a national story. So I'm still I'm not going to overreact to game one. It was great. What I will overreact to is Travis Hunter, in my opinion, might be the best non-quarterback in college football. Guy played 150 snaps in 100-degree heat and was the best player on the field on both sides of the ball. That guy's unreal. What could have been with FSU, obviously. Sad. But yeah, they're exciting to watch. They are exciting to watch, and I think we all expected that with Coach Prime there.
Listen, I think you're underselling Colorado a little bit. I don't think it'll be that close against Nebraska. Actually, I already took Colorado.
Nebraska plays close though in a lot of games. Most
they got
games,
beat
Nebraska,
by Minnesota. They got beat by Minnesota.
Close. They can't close, but they
new
play
coach.
Close.
New coach Matt Rule, show me what you got. I don't. But listen, the Buffaloes at home, their home opener with Coach Prime. Shedeur Sanders is the real deal. I'm not going to go ahead and make him a first-round pick, but he runs that offense flawlessly, and he is extremely accurate, and he can escape the pocket, and he can throw on the run, and they get man-to-man matchups all over the field, and their men are better than the other men because they're skilled players like Travis Hunter and Edwards and Xavier Weaver and Jimmy Horn Jr., by the way, USF fan. All those guys can freaking play. And they got a nice tight end. Their offensive line, I mean, he probably got more protection than he'll get against Nebraska and everybody else. When they play Oregon and USC, that's going to be a little bit different. There's going to be a little bit more pressure on him. But that kid can flat out play. I don't think they're going to win the Pac-12, but I think they're going to have a good season. And you can keep saying that, yes. When you have the national spotlight on you, it's different. No question about it. Deion's different. As much as I hate to say it, Coach Prime is different. We haven't seen anything like this ever in college football. We've not. This is a complete turnover of a team. You're talking about 70, 80 new players. It's not even the same school anymore. It's a different deal. It's NIL. It's transfer portal. This is a whole new deal. And they gelled more than I thought they would. I thought it would take some time for all of them to get on the same page, but that was a well-coached team out there. Their defense wasn't great, but that was a well-coached team out there. And I think Colorado's got something for some people.
Yeah, they're gonna be one of the more fun teams to watch from a week-to-week basis. I can't debate that whatsoever. And Shedeur Sanders, like you said, is fantastic.
All right, partner. Tell everybody where they can find all your content now. Once again.
Yeah, you can find me over, first of all, on Twitter, or X, formerly Twitter, and Nick Getty's News. And I'll be posting a lot from On3, still doing work with them, obviously. And like we mentioned before, the Charge On podcast, dropping every Thursday and Sunday during football season. So we'll have the preview up tomorrow for Boise State, and then we'll have the recap on Sunday from that game, hopefully celebrating another win for UCF.
All right, partner. Good stuff. Thanks for joining us. We'll have you on more. The great
Yes,
Nick
sir.
And
go Bucs, by the way. Go Bucs
yes,
this week.
Yes,
Minnesota.
Absolutely. Bucs. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, Leo Haggerty will join us. We'll do our USF report. We got lots to talk about there with Leo. Was that the right quarterback choice? And Byram Brown in week 1 against Western Kentucky. We'll talk about that and much more when we come back right here on the JP Peterson Show.
Coins sitting around the house. Well, the Golden Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Gold and Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. It will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
All right. Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group and the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. Let's bring in our good friend Leo Haggerty, who covers USF. It's our USF football report. What's up, Leo? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm hanging in there, JP. But you know what? The insanity has begun.
Yes,
College
it has.
football is in full gear, and the NFL starts tomorrow night.
Yeah, I cannot wait. I don't wait for the opener. Hey, are you doing that on your laptop?
I'll do it on my phone.
On your phone. Okay, cool. You got a lot of headroom there, man. As a TV guy, I would tell you to point that more towards your handsome face, and then you won't have as much headroom. It'll look nice. There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Leo. Good stuff.
There you go. That much better. I like that. So, yeah, it doesn't look like you have an alien head. Yeah, that's better.
Wait a second. Hold on. Let's try again. Here we go. Ready?
No, well, you got more hair than I do.
Oh, there we go.
All right. So, what'd you make of the Alex Golesh debut?
You know what? I'm going to steal a line from Hoosiers. And you remember Barbara Hershey, who played Myra Freener, the principal, when they're going to fire Gene Hackman. And she goes, give Coach a chance. And I'm on the same vein right now. Give him a chance, because when you look at what happened Saturday, there were some really great things. One, they ran 30 plays in the first quarter. 30. Yeah. Think about that. That's insane. In an era where passing is key, they ran the ball 61 times for 404 yards.
That's good stuff.
That's tremendous.
Yeah.
And they're in the game. Now, granted, you can't turn it over 3 times to win the football game. Clemson found that out Monday night. South Florida found that out Saturday. You just can't do that. It's just not going to work. So they clean that up. I'm starting to like what I see. And JP, I'm going to steal your question before you even asked. I asked Coach yesterday, did the fact that Brown will be around at least one more year get into your decision to start him instead of Bohannon, who's going at the end of the year?
Right.
He had an interesting comment. He goes, man, you're way ahead of me. You're thinking like a general manager. You know what that told me, JP and Peter? Somebody brought that up to him. They thought about it. They just figured, okay, this is probably the guy who he may not win right away for us, but week 3 or 4, he's going to be okay. And next year, we're going to move forward.
There's a lot of potential with him, too. I mean, 15 for 34, 166, 25 carries, 160 yards. Goalish going forward on 2 4th downs, being successful with that. That's something to look forward to. But then again, you can also see that he is still a young quarterback because he has 3 turnovers.
Yeah, and one of them, and what drove me nuts, JP, and I know it probably drove you nuts too, it was 1st and goal from the 5. Throw the thing away. Just throw it away and come back to fight on 2nd down. He'll learn. That's the nice thing. He'll learn. And when I asked Coach Goalish, what was the big thing about Hunter Herndon? He said, didn't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
That's the key. You don't turn the football over. If you can go through a game with 1 or less turnovers, your chances of win go up exponentially. SAT word, Peter.
Very nice. Leo word.
Well, first of all, Hendon Hooker took a while to get that out of his game, too. It takes a while. You need a lot. I think you need probably 15 to 20 starts in college before you really understand how to take care of the football. Some guys are better than that early on. It's just part of the game. You want to make every play. If the competition is there, you got guys behind you, trying to get your job. You want to make every play, but you can't make every play. It just takes a while for quarterbacks to get that. So Byram will get that. We worried about the defense going in. It's hard to take the worst defense in college football and make it that much better in 1 year. What did you think about the defensive effort?
6 3 and outs. That's huge in college football. Again, with the rules the way they are in college and the spread offense, so much field to play, you hold the team in the 20s, that's a really good defensive effort. You hold them under 20, that's a great defensive effort, simply because when you look at what teams are doing, they're putting receivers sideline to sideline. They're getting you into one-on-one matchups. And I'll tell you what I was impressed with, South Florida's tackling. They really came up and hit you. So, again, we're going to see Saturday night. Peter and I are going to be there watching the Florida A&M game. We'll get a lot out of that, but you know what? In 2 weeks, the 800-pound elephant comes to town. And I tell you what, I'm going to go out, not on the limb right now, but I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to score at least 20 points against Alabama.
Okay.
At least. It may be 65-35.
Yeah.
It's
Take the
going
over.
to be a shootout.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about a little bit about FAMU. They're a really good football team. They put it on for their level, obviously. They put it on Jackson State last week. I love their coach. He's being talked about as a D1 guy. What do you expect from FAMU?
Yeah, he's a Clemson guy, Willie Simmons. Yeah. So he brings and guys, I think what people fail to realize, you bring that D1 mentality to your program. No matter what you're in.
Right.
I'll tell you what, one thing you're going to find out, FAMU is going to be fast. And you know what? Speed kills, and great speed murders. And we saw that with Florida State. Man, oh, man. What great speed they have this year. I think the big thing is South Florida is going to have to punch them in the mouth, and FAMU is going to punch back.
Yep.
We're going to see what happens after first blood, if you know what I mean.
Leo, how surprised are you by Clemson's performance? Because I know you're a Clemson guy. I mean, that must have been a little bit disappointing on Monday night. When
you leave at least 20 points on the field and you give up 14 off of those turnovers, it was a terrible performance. But they went up and down the field. The worst thing that happened to Clemson is they got inside the 5-yard line. And again, they turned it over twice. Missed two field goals blocked. So, again, what the ACC has done, and people aren't talking a lot about this, is there's no divisions. They're going to end up taking the two best teams. Big Ten, are you listening?
Yeah.
Get Michigan and Ohio State out of the same division. Just take the best two teams. So we're going to see maybe the best game. It's either going to be Florida State, North Carolina, Clemson, or Miami. That's what you're – and Notre Dame. You could have really a plethora, another SAT word, of teams who's going to have a shot at playing in that ACC championship. And you know what? After the egg that the SEC laid with LSU – and that may not be as strong a conference as we're thinking.
The SEC will be good. I think the ACC is a little bit better than people think. I think Duke's pretty good. Clemson will be better. Everybody's writing off Clemson. I'd like to, but they'll be better. They're not going to be. I don't think they'll be a great team, but they'll be better. FSU should beat them. And North Carolina's legit. They're legit. Drake May is legit. North Carolina is legit. So, and the SEC. How good is LSU? I still think they're pretty good. Georgia and Alabama are good. After that, what are we talking about?
Right, exactly. And you know what, JP, when LSU went for it on fourth down in the first drive, I'm on the phone with Troy Odegaard, who is one of our guys with Night Sports Production, Amped Up Sports. And I said, Troy, is Coach Kelly afraid of his defense? He said, absolutely.
Yeah.
He was afraid. He knew he had to get in the shootout.
Yeah.
And that definitely sent the message that, hey, my defense isn't that good.
All right, Leo, great stuff, my man. You'll be joining us every week with the USF reports on Wednesdays at 10:45. We look forward to it, and we'll see how they do against FAMU. Thanks, partner.
Absolutely. Hey, have a good night, and we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good. All right, quick break. When we come back, JC Allen will join us now with Sports Illustrated online, so we'll talk with him about all things Buccaneers as they get set to take on the Vikings. Stay with us.
Coins sitting around the house. Well, the Golden Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Golden Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. It will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
All right, Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
And welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. The cavalcade of our wonderful guests continues now. We're brought to you by the great folks at Extravaganza Productions. If you've got a big event coming up, let them do it. EPI, extravaganzaproductions.com, the best in the business. You'll get a free creative session with them if you mention the JP Peterson Show. So hit them up, email them, call them from their website, extravaganzaproductions.com, and get her done. All right, let's welcome in our good friend J.C. Allen, formerly of the Pewter Report, now with Sports Illustrated Online. What's up, my friend? How are you?
Good. How are we doing over there, guys?
Good. So, congrats on the new gig. Well done. Still covering the Bucs, though, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, covering the Bucs. Moved over to Bucs Game Day with Sports Illustrated. So excited about that opportunity to help build that brand over there. Continue to be part of a stellar brand that goes back years and years of excellence. So definitely a little bit something new, but it's excited to get to work. I've pumped out a ton of content, more content to come, and I'll have some weekly pieces that everyone can look forward to coming out each week and diving into that. So really excited.
All right. First and foremost, let's get your take on what's going on with Mike Evans. What do you think? What's happening?
Yeah, I don't think anything's going to happen, really. I think this deadline's going to come and go, and they're not going to end up coming to a contract extension. I don't think there's going to be any trade. I did write about trade possibilities on an article that went out today, but that's just, if things fall apart and absolutely blow up. But anytime an agent comes out and demands and says, I'm not using this as a tactic for negotiations, you're using it as a tactic for negotiations. Just go on Twitter right now, read any piece about Mike Evans right now, and people are losing their mind about how they need. And some people are losing their mind in the sense that they're like, well, give in to his demands, pay him, 3 years at $80 million and make him the number 3 paid wide receiver in the league. And due respect to Mike Evans, he's an incredible athlete, but when the time this contract extension kicks in, he'll be 31 years old, history of hamstrings, and he's got such a there's so much pressure on him to continue to hit this 1,000 yards every year. If he misses it at any point, now it's kind of like, and I wrote about it, why are they hesitant to come to an agreement? I don't think they don't want to sign Evans long-term. Both sides have stated they want him here long-term. It's all about the numbers. And Aqib Talib said it best that at some point in your career, you find out that this is a business. If Mike Evans is 27, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Nope.
Heading into his 30, he just turned 30. Next year when the extension kicks in, he'll be 31. How much can you really give a wide receiver? And the same thing too. I mean, if he was asking for Godwin money, $20 million a year, I think this would have already been done. 21, maybe even 22. We're talking about it. We're not even talking about this. He's a Buck for life. But the fact that they're asking for such a high number, I think, is where there's pause and hesitation from the Glazers.
What do you think they are asking for? Do you think it's 3 years, $80 million? Is that what they're at? Guaranteed?
Cooper Cup money, so 3 years, 75 to $80 million is what they could be asking for. I think 21 million, I think that's good money. I think if Mike Evans, you're the highest paid wide receiver on the team, you're a top 10 wide receiver in the league being paid still. I wouldn't go much more than that. And like I said, he's an incredible player, but there's so many question marks in this season or after the season. If Bowles is gone, now you're blowing it up. Now you're handicapped, $21 million to a wide receiver. They're still paying off the dead money caps hit.
That's right.
The big money they just gave 2 veterans who are 30 or turning after 30, Ryan Jensen and Shaq Barrett. Shaq Barrett remained to be seen, but missed half a year with an Achilles tear. Jensen is probably done for his career. Yep. And they've been spending the last 3 years trying to get back to that Super Bowl. Now, granted, they got one. Most teams are lucky if they even make the playoffs, let alone get a Super Bowl. They got one, but maybe it's time the Glazers want to dial back that pocketbook a little bit and say, hey, we need to make some more money, instead of spending on all these veterans.
Do you think it comes down to a case here, JC, where Light says, you know what, or the organization is telling Light, let him take a chance, go out in the market, because we don't think there's a team out there that will give him Cooper Kupp money, much like Lavonte David and Jamel Dean.
Worked last year, worked the year before. Carlton Davis came back on a lower money than expected. Jamel Dean is one of those cases where he wanted to be with the Bucs. He wanted to stay in Florida, so he took less money. I think he could have gotten, and I know he got higher offers than the Bucs last year, but he wanted to be here. Saying to Lavonte David, go test your market. You're a 31-year-old wide receiver. Yes, you had 1,000 yards, unless he absolutely blows up and a team is desperate. But then again, does he want to go to you can probably go to a team. Houston is a team, right? He's from Houston, grew up there, played college right outside of there. They don't have a true number one. They're Robert Woods and Nico Collins are their number one, but they're not a contender. Do you want to go spend your last couple of your years of your career making money, or do you want to do a contending? Because you're not going to get the money you're asking for from a contender and do both, because there's, as we know, there's too many holes and everything like that contenders have to deal with, and spending that type of money on one player is usually out of the cards, unless it's going to put them over the edge,
Right. Yeah. You look at the history of this league, and you have to do that if you're the Buccaneers, and you look at wide receivers. They don't magically get better at the age of 31. And it's not the age of 31 paying him $21 million doesn't bother me. Age of 34 bothers me. The age of 33 bothers me. Those are just situations that you got to feel like the Bucs are still a few years away from contending for a Super Bowl. And I'd love for Mike Evans to be part of that. But you can get a receiver in the draft that's pretty damn good. Will he be Mike Evans? Probably not, but pretty damn good. He also won't cost you $25 million that they want. So, it's just business.
It is that good.
Yeah.
So, that third year, those first 2 years, right? You're paying 20, 21, 22, if he gets what he wants, 23, 24, that is, you're okay. You're comfortable with those first. It's that third, potentially fourth year where you have to just say, we're paying for the first 2 years and we're going to have to just eat this last year. Maybe we restructure, push it out down the line, kick the can type deal. But, at the end of the day, I don't really see, I don't buy the bluff that if they don't come to a contract extension before the season, that he's going to cut off talks with them completely, and just go into free agency without having conversations. There's too much respect there on both sides. So I don't expect anything to get done. If it does, I'll be shocked. And if it doesn't, I think they'll revisit come, prior to free agency. And if not, test your market. And if you find something, congratulations. If not, here's our offer. Come back, and we'd be more than welcome to have you here. And there's too many young guys to pay too. You can't.
Right.
Yeah,
all the same fans that are griping about paying Mike Evans also want to give Devin White $20 million a year. No, thank you. You can't pay everybody, and you got to pay the premium positions. Yeah,
exactly. Lavonte next year. If you don't pay Devin White and Lavonte's free agent and he retires, you have no starting linebackers on this roster. Right. I love what I've seen with Savasi Dennis in training camp. Preseason scared me a little bit. So you have no starting linebackers on. Middle linebackers. If you pay Mike Evans, you have no safeties. If you can't bring back Neal and Winfield, the middle of your defense is destroyed. So you got to balance it. It's a balancing act, and sometimes emotion takes over, especially with a guy like Mike. He's a man of the people. What he does on and off the field.
Yeah,
a lot of people attached to him.
We love him, and but the fans that just say, "Oh, pay him! You got to pay him what? $100 million over 2 years? I mean, what? Give me a number. You got to give me a number and give me a length of the deal, guaranteed money. It's all anybody cares about. Look, Mike can stay here for a reasonable dollar amount, and what about Rondé Barber? Well, he did too. He stayed here for a reasonable dollar amount. Guys, if you want Derek Brooks, if you want to stay here for your entire career, then make some exceptions. And I think at some point they'll come to an agreement. But Mike's agent is trying to do what he's paid to do, and that's get the max contract and taking it out into the public forum. You can debate whether that was a great idea. It doesn't matter. They're going to come to an agreement at some point, hopefully, and it'll be something reasonable that the Bucs can live with. I don't think they're going to overextend on Mike, nor should they. All right, let's talk about this game against this team. The Vikings defense was horrific last year. It'll be better this year. I don't know how much better. But the Bucs have gone from 7.5-point favorites when this line opened up in March, whenever the hell they did, to 6 points, which I think is a significant move. I think the smart money is going to come in late on the Buccaneers as well. But I listen, I like this spot for the Bucs as a 6-point dog. I'm definitely going to take the points. I don't know if they can win the game. The Vikings have been pretty damn good at winning close games, but I like their chances. Just handicap this game for me.
Yeah, I think when you look at these two teams, there's a lot of differences, right? The new defensive coordinator, they let go a lot of defensive players from last year. They brought in some guys, Marcus Davenport, who the Bucs have plenty of familiarity with. Yes. He's going to be over there as well. Brian Flores, a new coordinator. That offensive line didn't get better, but it didn't get much worse. So, I mean, but they did have a significant drop at the running back position, losing Dalvin Cook. They also lost Adam Thielen, who was as steady Eddie as they come at wide receiver. Jordan Addison, I'm really excited about this kid, but how long does it take before he gets it? Especially, if he's got Jamel Dean in his face, pushing him around at the line of scrimmage, sticking with him. So, I think this game is going to be very telling for the Bucs because there's nothing really on tape about what this offense looks like. This offense is going to be, of course, you can look at derivatives around the league, right? Including one that's ran in Minnesota, but there's going to be wrinkles that Dave Canales has on here that the league hasn't seen. So this is a game where maybe the Bucs can catch these guys sleeping. Maybe they can catch them with something that they weren't expecting because they haven't seen any tape of it. So, going against that defense, which is incorporating a lot of new players, a new defensive system, sometimes we know defenses can take a second to kind of click in when there's that change over the offseason. So I think this is going to be, as you said, I'm taking that 6 points easy. I think it's going to be a really close game. I think we're talking, 4 or less points is going to decide this game. As you mentioned, the Vikings led the league last year in wins by 1 score or less, barely eking those wins out. So how, it's two things, right? How dominant were they with that 11-5 record versus or 11-6 record, I think it was, versus how lucky were they versus, but also shows the resiliency of late in games to go on and win them. So it's going to be really interesting, this game. I definitely take the points there for sure. And I think the Bucs could surprise.
The matchup you're looking forward to, must-see TV, is it Carlton Davis versus Jefferson?
Yeah, I mean, Jay Jetta is just an incredible athlete. I think that's what you're looking for. They're going to move him around. So Jamel's going to get his chance to go up against him as well. They're going to bracket him with Antoine Winfield Jr., so he's going to get some looks. Remember, Antoine Winfield Jr. played the nickel, so he can come down and play that nickel spot. Christian Izien, the undrafted free agent out of Rutgers, starting at the nickel position, he's going to get some looks against Jay Jetta too. So that's going to be interesting to see. All right, welcome to the NFL, rookie, right? Here's Justin Jefferson. So that it's anytime Justin Jefferson's on the field, it's definitely going to be fun to look at. On the offensive side of the ball, I want to see that right side of that line, man. I have full confidence in the left side. Let me see that right side for a full game against some nasty boys and Davenport and Daniil Hunter. Let's see how they hold up. And just the whole offensive scheme as it is. We've heard all offseason, the wide receivers, I can't believe how open I'm getting. I can't believe how open. Let's see if that continues throughout into a game, against and the funny thing is, again, all of these offenses derivative from Mike Shanahan, right? The founder of this offense. But you look around the league and there's everywhere, everyone's got their handprints. Kevin O'Connell's one of them. So this defense goes against a derivative of this offense.
Yeah.
How ready are they for it too? So it's exciting, man. Football's back tomorrow. We got the Vikings at 1:00 on Sunday. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this matchup because I think it's not one of these games where you look at, well, that's a Bucs win, maybe at week 2 Bears, or that's a Bucs loss. Week 3 against the Philadelphia Eagles. This is where you're like, the Bucs could come out and surprise. This is going to be a good game. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, me too. All right, to remind everybody where they can find your content, partner.
Yeah, at JC Allen NFL on Twitter. Follow me there, pumping out amazing stuff. I'm your one-stop shop for Bucs, whether it's my content, whether it's from the Bucs, whether it's news around the league about the Bucs. I got you guys covered there at JC Allen NFL on Twitter. You guys can find me at Sports Illustrated on Bucs Game Day. Check us out at Twitter there. I've got a bunch of articles up right now, more articles coming. Tomorrow I'll have my Through the Spyglass, which will be breaking down the scouting report for this Vikings team. I'll have Keys to Cannon Fire on Friday. That's going to be the keys to the game. Every Monday, I've got a new article coming out called The Extra Point. It's going to be my takeaways. We didn't have a game this week, so I put my Bucs superlatives. Who's going to win the awards? MVP on offense, defense, Rookie of the Year, etc. So go check that out. And guys, it's always a blast coming on here. I got my studio set up. So I'll be popping on camera a lot more, and we'll be rocking and rolling.
All right, buddy. We'll have you on next week for sure. Thanks, JC. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
JC Allen, now with Sports Illustrated. Yeah.
I know. Good
looking
stuff.
Good.
Great
looking
stuff.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of looking good, let's bounce right over to our Bucs sideline guy, TJ Reeves, who joins us, and he made it out of Happy Valley. Good to see you, man. I didn't know if that was going to through the river and over the woods and cow fields and everything else through the mountains.
Cornfields and the whole bit. Great to be with you guys and hang out and talk some Buccaneer football and some other things, including Penn State. Let me say at the outset, because you and I were talking off the air, JP, this morning, and I was not fully aware of what had happened, and now I am aware of the horrible death, the construction accident that has claimed the life of Mike Williams. And I haven't been able to watch you guys and what you were saying or not saying earlier before you came on.
I was going to save it to the end, but
I put this on social media a little while ago. He was fantastic to deal with. I mean, he was a little aloof or different, but he was great. He was great to deal with even after losses. He was a class guy to stand and talk to me after losses. I did his radio show back in the 2011 and 2012 seasons. And this is a horrible thing. I mean, to be 36 years old and having to work construction because you've basically lost most, if not all, of your money and have a construction accident. The guy had great love for football and for the Buccaneers. So my heart is a little heavy here seeing that this morning. I've not been in contact with him for probably the last 7 or 8 years, probably about 2014, 2015, when he went to Buffalo. He's from Buffalo. He went back to play for the Bills for like a year or two. And I have not been in touch with him, but that's and really when you start looking back at Gaines Adams was on those teams around the time that Mike Williams was there. Geno Hayes, who you know, JP, from the Florida State days, is gone because of cancer. Gaines Adams because of a heart problem. Yeah. Now this, I mean, it makes you revere life. It's awful.
Way too young, man. Way too young. Yeah, Mike was a carefree dude. He was a carefree dude, super nice guy. Very productive early on. What do you have? 11 touchdowns his first year?
His rookie year. He was a 4th-round pick. And look, he most likely could have been a premium pick. You know, neither here nor there. I think they draft at the time the Bucs. It really has been 2nd round.
That's right.
They draft Williams 4th round. And, of course, he definitely flashed ability versus USF. Even Greg Allman talked about that.
Yeah. He was tremendous with the acrobatic catch, the toe tap, those kind of things, time and again. And I watched him do things, training camp, team hotel for kids, pictures, autographs. He loved being a Buccaneer. He loved being an NFL football player. So it's a shame. So I hate to begin on a downer, but I wanted to say that at the outset.
Yeah, absolutely. Good dude.
So back to Penn State and West Virginia Saturday night. That was a blast. Peter was even giving me a compliment.
Man.
Wow. Peter was giving me a compliment because I sent you some radio calls, and my analyst, LeVar Arrington, was even singing at times on the air. I had to reel him in a little bit. We had a good time. 110,000 of our closest friends. I will say this. We are more spoiled with that atmosphere in the South. The Swamp, Doak Campbell for JP if it's rocking, but Tuscaloosa, Baton Rouge, Neyland Stadium, Knoxville, Sanford Stadium, Athens, Kyle Field where Texas A&M plays, those places rock. And so this was in that category, It's not quite the same. They stuck all the West Virginia Mountaineer moonshiners, hillbillies up in the upper level in the upper left. They had like about 5,000 in the very top in the corner. That's where they stuck them. So that was kind of interesting. And then trying to get out of there. I mean, Penn State looked good. I don't know how good they're going to be because I don't think West Virginia is that good. I don't know how good they're going to be in the Big Ten. They got to have better traffic control in and around the stadium. My God. I mean, I know that probably about 30 or 40,000 people had left. But guess what? I know I went to public school. Peter went to public school. JP went to public school. That's still 70,000 people that are at the game that are trying to leave at the same time at the end of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
We sat, these are first world problems. We sat in a parking lot, did not move a centimeter for 25 minutes out of the media area in the backside of the stadium. We had to like hijack through another parking lot, go out another back parking lot to try to get moving. So we get out of the complex, and then it's still like a 90-minute with traffic drive to Harrisburg, which is south of State College. That's the capital. And we're driving through the mountains, which we don't have in Florida, in the dark, through cornfields, weaving around cornfields in the dark. It was definitely different to be in State College. I just thought I would share this on FanStream JP. It was quite the experience.
Tell me why the hell James Franklin and that backup quarterback Pagula is running. You know, he's got to run it in at the end of the game
to get the cover.
To get the cover. Like, I had West Virginia in the points. I'm like, oh, I'm good. They're just going to take a knee. And James Franklin.
I looked at LeVar.
Like, what the hell is going on here?
So let me give you the insight. So LeVar's looking at me, and I'm like, West Virginia took timeouts. And LeVar's looking at me like, what are they doing? And they went for it on fourth down and threw the ball to keep the ball with like a minute left.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, LeVar, do you take a knee? He goes, I would take a knee and just get out of here. Don't get anybody hurt. They run a play down to the one, and I'm looking at him again. I'm looking at him like, are they really going to score? And then I finally brought it up on the broadcast. I said, there are a whole lot of people that had Penn State that are really happy with that touchdown and extra point because now they're good. And LeVar goes, are you serious? He looked at me on the air, and he goes, are you serious that may have been part of that? I said, it probably wasn't at the forefront, but it was definitely part of it. If we're going to tack one more on and make a whole lot of people happy that had Penn State minus 20. If you had West Virginia plus the 20,
a major college football coach, not the head coach,
right,
but a major college football coach tell me that damn right the head coach knows what the spread is because his donors know what the spread is, and they get more money when they cover the spread.
And they put that money back into the program and back into NIL.
Exactly.
And we want them to be happy.
So these games where there's big spreads and you see teams like Penn State, even though the backup quarterback was in there, so respect, right? Okay. But listen, you know, you got backups in there who practice all week long, all off season long. They don't want to go in there and take a knee. So West Virginia, stop them.
And they're taking timeouts. West Virginia was taking timeouts in the final 2 minutes. So
I don't have a problem with.
Hey, and Mike Norvell did it. You were there Sunday night. Mike Norvell scored with under 2 minutes to go.
That was for emphasis. That was not.
That was to tack one on LSU.
That was, you're going to beat the damn what out of FSU, Brian Kelly?
Oh, by the way, he denied that. He backed off of that. He said he never did it. And then,
but the audio is out there. I saw it I saw it and heard it last night.
Denying it.
Yeah.
He was denying it yesterday, and the audio is now out there on the internet of exactly him in his own voice on the coach's show saying it. So how much more of a clown do you want to look like? Just own up to what you said and move on if you're Brian Kelly. But, yeah, I mean –
But on that note, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
go ahead.
Just on that note, I sat there and watched Brian Kelly with Jaden Daniels sitting next to him with a big bandage on his face, sit there and say, you know, my team wasn't tough enough. We didn't play hard enough. This was a total failure.
We're not as good as I thought we were.
Not as good as I thought we were. And then they all passive aggressive. That's on me, the coach. No, you don't talk about your team that way. That will not go over well in Baton Rouge, even if you say it in a Cajun accent, Brian Kelly. I thought that was poor, very poor of Brian Kelly to do that. And he got his ass handed to him. And Mike Norvell, that was a statement. And the way Raheem Bell went into the Jaheim Bell went into the end zone and trucked that guy. Yeah, that was a statement. Ain't no doubt about it.
So yeah, we watched this early on in the college football season, and it happens some with score late in the game, send a message, do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And Now we rock on. And I know you've been talking a lot of Buccaneers. We can go that direction, whatever direction you want to go. I'm here at your disposal, my friend.
Well, let's get ready. I mean, you're heading up to Minnesota. You've been there many times, as I have. Even the new stadium, the old stadium was probably even louder because they used the big speakers.
You want story time with TJ on that very point?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. 2005, which is now 18 years ago, my first season, my first regular season game is in the Metrodome, the opener, the game that Cadillac Williams busted loose in the final 2 minutes.
Yeah.
His rookie debut game, went on a 70-yard run, capped the game. I'm like, happy post-game show. Here we go. Gruden's going to be happy. Everybody's going to be happy. Flight's going to be great. I will say to you that I was standing TV right on the Buccaneer bench, down on the left side of our bench on that half of the field, which was the center field configuration of the Metrodome baseball that had the speakers up above us. Yeah. And I am 1,000% testifying on FanStream JP. They were blasting crowd noise, down the speakers right at the Bucs, who had the ball like at the 10-yard line trying to go the other direction with a 1st and 10. I'm like, holy crap, they are pumping the loud right at them out of the speakers right down on the field. And I'm looking at our people going, is this regularly what happens here? And they're like, yep. This is regularly what they do, that they pump that in there. And that was a 4 Advil game, 2 before the game and 2 after the game with how loud the Metrodome was. But again, Cadillac shut them up with the run. And the Bucs actually had some success. I was there like 3 times getting to do happy post-game shows. Raheem 2010 came from behind in the second half, and even Shiano the Maniac got a Thursday night win in the Metrodome. So the Metrodome was good to the Bucs for a few years there at the end before they moved to the new stadium.
What's the difference between the new stadium and the Metrodome?
So the coolest thing, and I was explaining this to a couple of people, and JP, I don't know if you've been in US Bank Stadium yet. That's the new one. They have a half and half hard roof. So part of it is like a dome, closed, covered, and the other half, like for the near sideline, the Vikings sideline, is translucent. It's windows. So the sun comes through. That's why you see the sun in the game. And it's weird because it's field turf. It's not natural grass.
Yeah, and it gets
field
really
turf.
bad shadows.
But that's the only stadium where half the roof is glass. So it's different, and it is still loud. We were there, I believe it was 2018 that we were there, or 2019 that we were there in the opening couple of games of the season. Maybe in 2017 at US Bank Stadium. So it's loud the same way, but I don't know that they're pumping in the crowd noise out of the speakers the same way that they did in the Metrodome.
Well, I mean, you look at this roster now, TJ, as it's finally constituted. It's a young team. I think I heard Todd say they have 23 new players on this team. It's and lots of them undrafted free agents. They got 6 or 7 of those. You got a bunch of rookies. I mean, this is a completely different football team than what we saw last year, and I think in a good way. This team is much younger. It's much faster. How quickly they learn, I think, will determine how successful this season will be. I don't know if Kalijah Cansey's going to play, if he's going to be a factor, but they're going to need him at some point this year to be a really, really good defense. So what's your take on how the whole roster shakes out as we go up to Minnesota?
I think you've hit on one of the biggest keys, which is, can the young guys that are needed deliver, whether you're talking about, and I know I heard you the other day talking about Servassier, that you want that to now be on your ID, or you want to be addressed. Or what did you say when you check into hotels? You're checking into the name Servassier.
Peterson.
Servassier and Yaya Diaby and these different guys that they've gotten. Sean Tucker, undrafted free agent, who is apparently – by all accounts, it looks like Tucker's going to have a helmet on and be active on Sunday. So on and on down the list to Trey Palmer at wide receiver, to Izzian, who I know J.C. Allen was just talking about, who's going to start and is going to play. You had to go younger because of the salary cap, and they are going very young, and it is going to be some baptism by fire early on in the season. Because as you guys were just discussing, you're going against Cousins and Justin Jefferson, and that Jordan Addison kid from USC can fly. So you better be ready to run with those guys in this matchup. But yeah, you're right. They are much younger. It is a youth movement, and I don't think this is a big secret. I'm not revealing a big secret. This is probably a 2-year project of this year and next year to develop what does this roster look like in 2025. 2024 and 2025, what does it look like? And you got a bunch of guys right now that have a real jump on, am I going to be here 2 years from now as an established, starting, contributing player for the Buccaneers? So it's going to be fascinating to watch it unfold, boys.
You got to think that Antoine Winfield Jr. has this date circled, not only because his father was a former Vikings player, and for me, I think he definitely has some extra motivation to have a game against the Vikings.
Yeah, and he played at Minnesota in college, and they don't play in that stadium, but he obviously is familiar with that town. But you're right. I mean, there's motivation there for him to go against the Vikings and his dad's old team. So, yes, and we haven't seen him in the preseason. You mentioned Kalijah Cansey. We haven't seen him. We haven't seen Mike Evans. We haven't seen several guys, Levante David, another one, that haven't been out there. So, this will be the first time to get them some action, and you just hope you stay as healthy as you can with the start to the season that includes not just the Bears home opener, but a Godzilla in the NFC, the Eagles on Monday Night Football, and then the Saints at New Orleans. For the first 4 games, the 3 of them are real challenges. And I'm not saying the Bears are probably a decent challenge, but you get that at home in the heat, you should have advantages in that. But yeah, I mean, for the younger guys to get out there for the first time, for a Cody Mauk, welcome to the NFL and playing guard and doing this against an awesome defensive front in the NFL every week. Let's see what it looks like.
All right, before you go, let's do all 3 of us. Let's all 3 of us play this game. Rapid fire.
All right.
Bucs superlatives. Okay. Peter, our guest will go first. Rookie of the year for the Buccaneers.
The top rookie will ultimately be Kalijah Cansey. He will make plays. Can I go honorable mention Yaya Diaby?
Yes.
So that's 1 and 1A.
I say Cansey's, and then my honorable mention is Sean Tucker.
Sean Tucker, interesting.
I think will have an impact. Who you got, Peter?
Yaya Diaby is going to make lots of plays, especially if JTS doesn't, get that progression. And then Sean Tucker. I definitely think Sean Tucker has an opportunity to make some plays. Yeah.
Here's the real concern, and this is me saying this, not them. Is he big enough to be on the field a bunch and pass block? We know that he can take off on handoffs. You can chuck it to him out of the backfield. Do they trust Keyshawn Vaughn a little more or Edmonds, the veteran, to be on the field more to pass block? Yeah. If Rachaad White is not in there, that's a real thing to watch, because if he's on the field some early on in the season, then they do trust him to pass block for Baker Mayfield.
But this offense, I think Canales will find roles for a lot of different guys that, 6 to 8 touches a game with that speed. I think he can be a factor.
None of us took Trey Palmer.
Nobody.
Who could? I mean, Trey Palmer could be a real find just out of necessity of having to play more for this team. And again, we don't know. This is the regular season. This is the NFL. He's going to have to block some, which he hasn't been used to doing. So there's different layers to this. But right now, off of what we have seen so far, is anybody doubting that Trey Palmer's not going to make some contributions to this team? Holy smokes.
All right, defensive player of the year for the Buccaneers. Who you got?
Overall, defensive player of the year?
Defensive player of the year.
How about bounce back year for Shaquille Barrett with a heavy heart, with everything going on, with a lot to prove off the injury? It may not be right away, but over the course of October, November, I say Shaq is back. Give me defensive player of the year, Shaq Barrett. Now wearing number 7, by the way.
Yeah.
And I'm not clear on whether the Bucs kept 58, the player that was wearing 58, because we're going to be confused. They got a 29, and Rachaad White's wearing 1, and they got a 29, and we got Shaq wearing 7, and they kept the 58. But I'm going to go Shaq Barrett and try to keep it straight.
All right, Peter, who you got?
I was going to say Shaq, but you know what? Yeah. I think it's Devin White. Devin White has the most to prove. Look, he has to get that
contract year. Yeah.
For this team,
highly motivated.
Up, against the run and the pass, Devin White has to play better. I go Devin White for this team.
It's a great point. If I can just interject real quick, that I know this for a fact, that he very much wants to be here, and Todd Bowles and Jason Light want to get it worked out. But there's only one person that's in control of whether or not he's worth a big time contract. And it's not Jason Light and it's not Todd Bowles. It's number 45. So you make a very interesting play there on top defensive guy out of Devin White. Interesting.
I'm going to go Antoine Winfield. I think he's going to have a big year, cause a lot of turnovers. I think he's going to have a big year because he's kind of having a contract year himself. So he'll be highly motivated. All right, offensive player of the year. Who you got?
It would be very easy to say, Baker Mayfield or Chris Godwin. Give me Rachaad White as the full-time number one guy. Watch what this guy can do in terms of 800 or more yards, 60, 70 or more catches. If he is healthy, he is going. I have picked him in 3 fantasy football leagues. What do I know?
Just writing that down. Me too.
What do I know? But
I got him in the 7th round.
I got him in 3 different leagues because he's going to be the primary guy, at least to start the year here. It has a chance to really blossom. We know about him around the NFL. They don't know as much about him. I think he could be your sneaky offensive player of the year.
Yeah, I do too. That's who I'm going with, by the way. It's Chris Godwin. I think he's going to have a monster season, second year off the ACL, and I think he's going to get 10 to 12 targets a game. I think Baker loves throwing to him. I think Canales loves his versatility and his run after the catch. I think they're going to get him the ball a lot. I think I got him in the 7th round, and I was waiting to get Rachaad White. I was freaking waiting because I said I can probably get him in the 6th, 7th, or 8th round, and somebody snagged him like one pick before me. So I think he's going to have a good year. What do you got, Peter?
Baker Mayfield, look for him to have the type of turnaround that Geno Smith had last year in this Dave Canales offense. Watch it. Watch Baker bake.
And don't try to do too much. We're going to keep saying that the first couple of weeks here. He doesn't have to do everything himself. And he's got enough talent. I keep coming back to this. We know Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rachaad White, Cade Otton, now Trey Palmer. And I mean, you've got some weapons around you. Utilize that. Utilize what those guys can do around you. And I'm excited to see what he can. I mean, he's not going to be rattled by the loud crowd and that kind of stuff. And he's used to the booing and used to all of it at Oklahoma and then in the NFL with the Browns, et cetera. Let's see what kind of captain of the ship Baker Mayfield is to start the year. They're trusting in the veteran with experience. Let's see if he rewards that trust here starting in Minnesota.
All right, you guys, MVP. I mean, how do you make him an MVP if he's not your offensive player of the year? But I'm just going to give my MVP to Baker because I think he's going to lead this team to the playoffs. And nobody has the Bucs in the playoffs.
Is there a scenario where they win 8 or 9 or 10 games and Baker Mayfield isn't tremendous? Is there a scenario where that happens?
No.
So I would have to think if you believe they're going to be a playoff caliber team, it's largely him captaining the ship. I use that phrase again, like a Buccaneer. So I'll go with you. Yes, that probably your most valuable guy, but anything can happen. Buc fans, will say this again. If something happens to him, he had a high ankle sprain last year and you plugged Kyle Trask in, maybe Kyle Trask becomes your most valuable player because he can manage the offense and make throws. But that's an unknown. That's an unknown right now because he's not guaranteed any playing time. Peter, go ahead.
Make that call. Go ahead, make that call. TJ.
Yeah, I'm going with Baker on this. I think it's pretty easy. You go with that. I'll throw a question out at you to still JP here. Does Mike Evans get over 1,000 receiving yards this year? I say yes because he's extra motivated.
Absolutely, yes. It's the law too, by the way. It's Florida law if you haven't looked that up. No, absolutely. Absolutely he's going to have 1,000. I think we have 2,000-yard receivers. I think Mike gets about 1,075, and I think Godwin's at about 1,230 with 11 touchdowns.
I like
You know what Baker already understands, and Tom Brady understood this very quickly, and the guys that have been here, Jameis Winston, Mike Glennon, all of them, they started figuring it out on the practice field, and now they see it in games, that with that catch radius and those long arms, he's literally about a 6'10" to 7-foot target running down the field with being able to do stuff. So it's going to be fun to see if they can get him the ball some going down the field, going vertical. Mike Evans.
All right, TJ, I'll let you go figure out how the Twins are getting to the prom. Good luck with that.
Yes, we have the homecoming dance Saturday, and I'm not here because I'm on the plane with the team going to Minnesota, so I'm real popular on that.
Needs a third row if anybody's out there and would like to donate a vehicle with a third row this week.
We don't have enough. I was telling JP off the air, they want to go with all their friends, Peter. These are first world problems, and we don't have a vehicle that has 7 or 8 seats. So it's like, ladies, we don't own a van or a school bus to make this happen. JP was empathizing with me.
I'm see if I can find my old friend Cliff Gephardt. He's got a limo around that I might be able to send over.
Peter,
there.
line up the limo. Peter might be the chauffeur in the hat and the nice bow
Lincoln,
tie.
Man, that thing is sweet.
Right.
It is sweet.
Listen, there's a story here really quick. When I was younger, about 10, 11 years old, I was having a big birthday party. Thought I was Mr. Popular. So I decided to invite everybody to my house for this birthday party, not understanding that, like you said, the car wasn't big enough to fit everybody. So
how does everybody get there and how does everybody get home? Because nobody's driving at 11 years old.
We had well, of course, we all had to scooch in instead of, their parents taking them. So we had this car and we had to have everybody just.
How many? 10? 10 of you?
10. Yeah.
There you go.
My parents
in the 5-seater
sitting
on top of each other.
Kill me. They wanted to
Like
kill
in the
me.
old days. We didn't have to have seatbelts at that point.
First world problems, but I will be on the plane to Minnesota while this is going on with the homecoming dance. So I appreciate your good vibes
right.
there on that and your car suggestions and your limo suggestion. I may take you up on that.
Travel well, my friend. Travel well.
You boys be well. Happy to be with you. Here we go with Buccaneer season. Great to be with you.
All right. Nothing But Bucs podcast, by the way. Check that out. Always listen to TJ on. I was listening to that this morning on the way in. Great job with that, as always.
Great stuff.
All right, we got to hit a break here, get our final break in, and we will come back and talk a little fantasy football. I got to tell you about my fantasy football lineup. I have a kicker tandem that
you got a kicker tandem?
A kicker tandem that will make the all-name team. See if you can figure out who it is. My kicker tandem that would make the all-name team. We'll do that and more when we come back. We are brought to you by the great folks at American Mortgage Services. My buddy Scott Fitzgerald is the best in the business. If you're looking for a refi, which you should be, by the way, because that's cheap money still, or if you're looking for a new home, you got to get that mortgage. I know the rates are high, but he'll find you the lowest rates. And they've got some creative ways to make it happen and fit in your budget. So give him a call. Just email him, scott@amstampa.com, scott@amstampa.com. Great company over there. They'll keep the lowest fees and make it all work for you. American Mortgage Services. Back in 3. Stay with us. Happening at the Patio, the most unique sports bar in South Tampa. Come watch football in a tropical paradise beneath the trees and stars. We have all the NFL and sports packages, and we always have the big fights, UFC and boxing. Mondays, it's Tullamore Dew Trivia with $4 Tullamore whiskey and trivia prizes, plus, of course, Monday Night Football. Wednesday night, it's karaoke night. Get your song on. 9 to midnight with DJ Will and Mulatto. And Thursdays through Sunday, it's your football headquarters. Happy hour, weekdays 3 to 7:30 with $1 off all beers and wine and $4 White Claw vodka drinks and seltzers. And join us for our live broadcast, 5 to 7, Football Fridays, big happy hour. You can join the show with the fan mic, and we'll have swag giveaways and tickets. So watch football in a tropical paradise. It's the Patio, 421 South McDill, just a few blocks south of Kennedy. Everyone meets at the Patio. Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you.
The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. Only just me.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at the Italiano Insurance, folks. They did me a great solid when they redid my car insurance, saved me $1,000, and they gave me the best customer service. They will do the same for you, especially now, folks, with homeowners insurance. If you are underinsured, and 40% of you are underinsured because the value of your house may have increased, so you got to go to your insurance agent and say, hey, my replacement cost is now X amount of dollars. With inflation and everything else, it's more. So you got to make sure you're insured to the value of your home. 40% of you are not. Can you imagine losing your home in a hurricane and you come up $300,000 short to replace it? That would suck. Your wife would not like that. So make sure it's done. Just give them a call at 813-877-7799 and let them shop your auto insurance, your home insurance, your business insurance, all of it. They shop it around. You save the money. Great folks over there. Tell them JP sent you. All right. So are you in the fantasy league, Peter? Do you have a fantasy team?
I do not have a fantasy football. No, and we have not created the fantasy football league for us yet because
I think it's too late now.
Yeah, it's too late now. So no, I am not. I usually am, but you know what? You got to focus on what's at hand here. You got to focus on getting healthy. That would be one thing.
Yeah, that'd be good. No, I just wondered, what your team looked like. So we have to draft 2 kickers in our league. I have a strange league. There's a lot of weird stuff in our league. So I have to draft 2 kickers. Just for fun, I drafted a Matt Gay and Cameron Dicker, which makes my tandem Gay Dicker. So there you go.
There you go.
Just having a little bit of fun. Nobody write me anything, and those things. It's just fun, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Fun with names. So I did a lot of homer work here on my team. I got the Buccaneers defense, which I think is going to be a little bit of a surprise for people. I'm not playing him week 1, though.
Mm-hmm.
Also drafted Cade Otton as my second tight end. Got him late. So I think that's a good second tight end, right? That's not a bad second tight end. A guy who's going to get the number 1 targets for a team as a second tight end. As I mentioned, I drafted Chris Godwin. That was a steal. Also, Marquez Valdez-Scantling in the late rounds. I think he was a little bit of a sleeper. Yeah, we have to bench all of your players for 3 games a year,
which is weird. You told me
it's really weird.
Yeah.
It just makes your depth so important. So it's weird, and I know people don't like it, but you really got to find matchups for your lower guys. Like I got Brian Robinson Jr. from Washington as one of my backup running backs. I got to find a week where he's going to be good, against the bad defense. I got to look ahead. So it's a lot more work. I got Odell Beckham Jr. I got the all-name team. I got Burrow as my quarterback, Dalvin Cook, Bijan Robinson, Chris Godwin. I'm on Ross St. Brown, Mark Andrews, and Matt Gay or Cameron Dicker. I got Gay Dicker as my kicker. So that's a pretty good starting 7 right there. And
I like
the
it.
Bucs defense, right? Not too bad.
Yeah, you didn't draft Travis Kelce, which right now a lot of fantasy owners are kind of
had a chance to. I passed on him.
Well,
I passed on him.
It was a good pass because he hyperextended his knee yesterday.
Yeah.
And play is in doubt. I mean, true or false? You think he plays against the Lions on Thursday night?
I wouldn't play him I wouldn't play him Thursday night. Hell no. Why would you? You got a whole season ahead. No, yeah. I wouldn't play him. No.
I mean, essentially, he's the number 1 target for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and I think that's why MVS is a nice little sleeper pick that I had there.
True.
Sky Moore too. I got Jerry Jeudy as a backup. I think he could be really good. So yeah, I like my team. I like my squad.
Is that the team that makes a move, in your opinion? Is it the Denver Broncos with Russ Wilson? There was something that came out yesterday from Mina Kimes where Sean Payton says to Russell Wilson, look, you're not kissing babies. You're not running to be a politician. You're trying to be an NFL quarterback here. Focus on that. Just paraphrasing a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, she's right. Focus in. Don't have your own office. Don't have your entourage.
Right.
Of course, Sean Payton put the kibosh on that. I just don't see how Sean Payton's a great coach.
Yeah,
coaching quarterback league. I still believe in Russ Wilson. I think they're better. It's brutal conference, brutal division. It's tough. So, we'll see. I think they'll be much better. I think they'll be much better.
Yeah.
But
anything is better than what you had last year. I mean, that was a disaster, and Peyton basically admitted to Russ he was focusing too much on Russell Inc. or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So
Nick Bosa not at meetings today. Continues to get fined. Yeah. Continues.
I mean,
I think he's racked up a couple million in fines. And by the way, they don't give the fine money back anymore or negate it. Like they got to fine the guys as part of the new CBA. So that's not good. Not good for for San Francisco. And Mike Evans is not going to hold out, but there's a lot of teams that are dealing with this. Chris Jones in Kansas City. Has he come back?
He has not. He has not reported back. And honestly, do you want Chris Jones back? He hasn't even had any training camp time at all. He's missed all of training camp. I mean, what kind of football shape is he going to really be in? I mean, and how much of a loss is that? And then you look at the Evans situation. Jefferson is coming up for an extension. Is it intelligent for the Bucs right now to wait until that happens? Because then he basically resets the market? Or do you do a contract before Jefferson?
Well, it all depends on what Mike's demanding. I mean, again, it really I see how the Jefferson contract will affect it. I think we all know it's going to bust the bank. Right. But Mike Evans is not Justin Jefferson. He's 8 years older than him. Yeah. He's not playing at that level. I mean, so just because Jefferson gets it, you think Mike's going to reset the market over Justin Jefferson? Hell no.
No.
So I think a lot of people are talking about that, but I think the situations are drastically different, to be quite honest.
Nick Bosa, he's got all the leverage in this.
I mean, of course he does.
Why not sign?
Yeah, and so does Davis. Listen, those teams are not very good without them. You look at the numbers without Chris Davis and Kansas City, that defense, you look at the numbers without Nick Bosa, they're drastically different. These guys are huge difference makers. They got a lot of clout. And the problem is right now with these deals is, again, the salary cap is going to explode in the next couple of years. It has to, because the overall take of the dollars exploded with this last agreement. It doubled the TV revenue. So the players get 51% of the revenue. So that ergo, right, the cap has to double from 200 to 400 million in the next 10 to 12 years. So these deals that sound ridiculous are just basically proportional to what guys have been paid at those particular positions. It just sounds like a lot more moving forward. So I think, the general managers and the fans and everybody have to kind of get used to it. Did you see the whole controversy with the Spanish female football star and the president of the federation who gave her a big kiss on the lips right at the end?
No, I did not see that.
So they're charging him with sexual assault. So he could do 4 years for this congratulatory kiss. I mean, it was over the top. I remember when I saw the video, I was like, oh, that's not, I understand the Spanish. They're a little bit more romantic, right? But this was, it was different. It wasn't a kiss on the cheek, great job.
It was like Joe Namath wanting to kiss Susie Colbert, maybe.
It wasn't even that innocent, to be quite honest. At least that guy was hammered. And, he just kiss you. This guy grabbed her by the back of the head and kissed her on the lips. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Hold on here, pal. So that's an interesting story. What else did we want to get to?
Tom Brady had some comments yesterday. He's officially done, right? So are you?
Yeah, thank God.
I mean,
thank God.
No
so
more.
What did you make of his comments?
I mean, he pointed out that Bruce is gone. He pointed out Bruce was there, and then Bruce was gone. I thought that was interesting. I don't know if he's trying to take a shot. I'm just saying.
Yeah, he was taking a shot.
He was taking a shot, I think.
Taking a shot.
He was done. I mean, he kind of talked about the talent on this football team, and I think the national media should kind of take his comments and say, hey, if Tom knows talent, we should know talent. We shouldn't really, rule out this ball club when it comes to 2023. So he's done. He's done. I don't think he's coming back.
I thought his comments were, I don't know if you had the audio. Were you going to play the audio?
I don't have the audio, unfortunately. We have the Canales audio. We got to get to that tomorrow. That was great stuff.
Yeah. So, I thought it was a lot of glad handing and, I love, those are my guys. I went to war with them, even though I was trying to get to Miami the whole time. I mean, I just find it a little disingenuous. I really do. I just, those are my guys. We went to battle together. They're a good football team. I think they're I think he's right. I think everybody's underselling them. No question about that. But, it's only a 40-minute flight. So, yeah, you're going to be at a lot of the games, Tom. Are you? Are you coming back? I don't think so. He'll be at the Raiders games. He'll be at the Las Vegas Aces game. Tommy's about Tommy. All right. Can we just get past that, Buck fans? And do you want a statue of him? Fine. Get your statue, throw him in the Ring of Honor, whatever you want to do. It's fine with me. I'm just, a little over it. I'm a little over it. You can't tell.
I know you are. And Jimmy Garoppolo, he redid his deal after signing that big time free agent deal. They freed up $17 million, the Raiders did, which once again proves my point. That cap situation is really odd. I mean, how do you free up $17 million after you just signed this guy to a big free agent deal? How does that work out?
Future contracts are, they're a different animal. It's not that deal doesn't. I think this year's cap does it. I think that's it kicks in after this year. I think. I'm not sure.
$17 million this year. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not exactly sure what their situation was.
Right.
I know what the Bucs situation is, and they can't be committing $20 million a year to Devin White and $30 million a year to Mike Evans. Would be nice, but that's just not good business at this point. So we'll see.
No.
All right. Our thanks to our cavalcade of great guests today. Nick Geddes, who joined us, Leo Haggerty, TJ Reeves, and JC Allen. Thank you all for joining us. Go check out their content. And if you missed anything, you can go run this show back on Twitter, on Facebook. Please go, by the way, and download our new app. We have a new app, FanStream Sports DSP Media. Download the new app for those who would listen on the app. Of course, you're not anymore because we're not using that app anymore, but it's just same one, JP Peterson Show, but a new app in the FanStream Sports DSP family. Do that. And, of course, we have a new Apple link as well. So if you're looking to the old Spotify, go to the new show link on that as well. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.